guys are thousands. We're going to finally show Toronto what's going on.
Freedom!
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 Le peuple uni toujours sera vainqueur. The people united will always be victorious. We will not be controlled, and we will not be oppressed. Wake up, Canada!
Rise up!
Wake up, Canada!
Rise up!
Rise up!
Rise up!
Rise up!
Rise up!
Freedom!
Freedom!
Liberté!
Liberté!
Coupe le corps, coupe le corps!
Coupe le corps, coupe le corps!
The age of the awake, who stand with all of our citizens in this mission to free ourselves, to extricate ourselves from this tyranny, this bullshit, the lie, the big lie. Tell me, it's the big lie. Now listen, we know for a fact that the people who don't wear masks aren't getting tested. Is that a fair assumption? So that means, of course, the people wearing the masks are the ones getting tested, right? And therefore, they're the people driving up the cases. Well, for crying out loud, I mean, this is so simple. This math is so simple. You know, it's very important for us to realize when we're being manipulated. Remember, we're used to going on about our daily lives, and for the past 200 years, nobody has needed to sit around the table and talking about their rights. Nobody has had to do that. But suddenly now, we are tasked every day with having to make an evaluation about where we are in our world, in our country. Whoa! Never leave spontaneity to chance. But right now we're cast in a situation where we have to spend time figuring out what tomorrow's gonna look like. And many people are very concerned. We're losing our jobs, we're losing our money, we're losing our minds. Abuse is on the rise, addiction is on the rise. Listen, don't dump your shit on your spouse. It's okay to be angry. Anger is not one of the 7 deadly sins. One of my favorite writers, John Bradshaw, once said he went to school and a nun showed him pictures of their souls on anger. And then he says, I wonder where she got the pictures. There's nothing wrong with anger. Anger and love come from the same well springs of the human being. Without anger, you cannot have your love. And without your anger, you cannot stand up for your human rights. Now listen, I gotta tell you something. Last night, we were here huddling with our partners at Stand Up Canada. We were at the Hilton. We called to make sure that there was a mask exemption in place before we got there. It was on my reservation. We were sitting down like normal human beings having a conversation, talking about this event and how good we could make it for everyone when we were approached by some authoritarian manager who thought he would take it upon himself to attack us for not wearing a mask. That's the Hilton Toronto.
Fuck Hilton!
The manager thought that he could rewrite the laws, so he called the police. And rather than the police supporting us and upholding our rights, for which of course they swore an oath to do, they backed the manager, they arrested us, and they converted another mask resistance into a trespass to property. Isn't that fancy? So, to the Hilton, we say you will never see the line again because you crossed the line. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. I've studied psychology for many years. I want to give you the definition of mental health so that you know you're not nuts. It's a sense of well-being. It's a sense of self-acceptance. It's the capacity to relate and the ability to love and to work productively without encroaching on the rights of others. We've got a bunch of sick people out here. Our businesses are violating rights daily. You can barely get food anymore or even use a public washroom without getting told or treated like you have violated a contract you never knew you signed. Our rights are unalienable. They supersede any law whatsoever in this country. We are human beings. We come first. Our needs come first. The safety of our children, they come first. So let me tell you something. We've got a huge announcement later to make, and I can't wait to do it. In fact, I want to do it right now, but I'm resisting because I went to Wednesday night therapy. I'm okay. But I'm dying to tell you because you're going to love it. And it's all for the people. The line works for the people. Our partners work for the people. Hugs Over Masks, Vaccines Choice Canada, Vax Canada. These are the people who are pushing for your rights. Please follow them everywhere. Follow us on Twitter at The Line Media. Follow us on Facebook at The Line Canada. And please know that we are serious about working in the service of protecting your rights.
Mad online.
Thank you very much for being here, Toronto. Let's start the day. I want you to say hello to a friend of mine who's earned your trust. He's my business partner. I love this guy. He has kept you going for weeks with the rest of us. I can't wait to tell you more, but for now, please put your hands together for Lamont Dago! It's all you, bro.
Rise up! Rise up! Rise up! Rise
Good
up!
idea. I think I should take the front. What do you think?
Rise up!
Here I come. Rise up! Rise up!
Rise up!
Rise up!
Rise up!
Rise up!
Rise up!
People, people. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm in love with you all right now.
Oh.
Give yourselves some love. You know what? Last week we gave each other hugs. Give yourselves some hugs right now. I don't see you guys hugging. Oh my God. What crazy action. So listen guys, we're gonna make this quick. We've had a lot of really great speakers all of a sudden come and want to do this with us. And once the Quebecois said they were coming, we went, we're going all the way. Right? My God. The Quebecois have really led the pace. And when we came back from Ottawa and Montreal last round, we said to ourselves, we're not going to be in Queen's Park anymore to handle a couple of hundred people. We got to come here and handle thousands.
Yeah.
You guys are thousands.
Yeah.
We're going to finally show Toronto what's going on. Because honestly, it's not about the speeches. It's really not. We can do social media. We know what's going on out there. It's great for our people to give updates up here and to see people we haven't seen before. And the Quebecois are definitely here. This is a wonderful support. So I'm going to say a little word and then we're going to get into the first speaker today, okay? So here I try some French. Can you guys imagine? Here I go.
As a family with their masks. I was like, you're ridiculous. You know? You're ridiculous. You know?
Came originally from New York City. I came up here. I saw a friend of mine cut right on Yonge Street, right in front of a cop. The cop was waved at him. I thought, this is my place. We love this city and we love freedom. Yeah. And we're going right after the core of their deception. We're going after their weakest link. As a student of the law, I investigate what part of their case is the weakest, and it's the PCR test.
Yeah.
The polymerase chain reaction test.
Yeah.
Dr. Carrie Mullis, who died on August 7th, 2019, just coincidentally, right before the plandemic, scandemic, and now we're in plandemic 2. Remember what Ball Gates said? We'll wait till the next one. We want him captured alive. We want him captured alive. And he's going to be put on trial for crimes against humanity. His best friend, his business partner, called him a ruthless schemer. A ruthless schemer. We want him taken alive. He's going to vaccinate or inject, because we can't call them vaccines anymore because they have nothing to do with any vaccination of any sort. We will not be injected with their synthetic chemicals based on a fake, phony PCR test that when your viral load starts to go up because you're wearing a mask, your viral load goes up because you're catching a cold, your viral load goes up because you have a fever. As soon as that goes up, now you're suddenly a positive case? What kind of nonsense is this? We will get you. We will get you. We will arrest you. We will seize your assets. We're coming for you. You cannot hide, Justin Castro. We're coming for you. We know who you are. We're not going to hold back anymore either. We're not going to hold back because they want to insist that you get their medical injections. Hell no! We will not take your injections. That is rape. We will not be raped by the state. We will not get your synthetic chemicals and heavy metals. We will not get your microchips. On one side, you've got Linda Gates going, oh, my husband would never inject anybody with a microchip. On the other side, the FDA in the United States is about to improve their injectable microchips. These people are not even good liars. No, we're not going to take your injection, and it's not called a vaccine. We're not going to take your injection of viruses. We're not going to take your injection of Lyme spirochetes. We're not going to take your injection of fungi. We know what the history of this vaccine agenda is. It's created an epidemic. The real epidemic of childhood diseases, childhood cancers, unbelievable devastation of families with autism, unbelievable destruction of innocent people. This is a Luciferic agenda, and since this will not be broadcast on the news, we will tell you the truth. Underneath it all, their satanic agenda is exactly connected to this lockdown, to their quarantine, to their social distancing, to their Masonic initiatory rites of wearing a mask. We're not wearing your goddamn mask. No. Take your mask and shove it up your ass. We're not taking their germ theory warfare either. This germ theory, this is where we are now. In 1901, Nikola Tesla patented an ozone machine that stops infectious diseases. The entire idea that they're selling us, well, we need that polio vaccine because, well, what's going to stop polio? Ozone will stop it. Ozone stops it. It stops it in 2 minutes. Even the most reactive ozone in the world will oxidize polio anaerobic virus in 2 minutes. So we already had the cure long ago, but this monopoly will not give up. They want you with their trillions of dollars and their Ball and Melinda Gates Foundation and all of their corporate interests that have now taken over your federal government. Right? Who does Justin Castro work for? He works for the World Hoax Organization, the World Health Organization. Are you done with it? I am. I'll fight to the death before I'm going to take their bullshit. Yeah, I will fight them to the death. It's over. Am I going to? Let's put it here. Here's where we go on the legal side. We go after their PCR test. We go after the weakest chain in their link. We go after how fraudulent it is and how it cannot differentiate a coronavirus from a rhinovirus or any other virus. We go after that weak link until we break them through the judiciary. Because the judiciary is on our side. The police are on our side. The people are on our side. Children are on our side. The world is looking at Toronto and wondering, are they on our side? side. And yes, world, we are on your side. Have the best day.
David Avocado Wall! Give him some love! Wow!
Right. The narrative of maintaining a 6-foot distance, of washing your hands and staying home was the only narrative that we were allowed to parrot. At some point in April, it became obvious that the story that we were being sold stunk. News stations around the world were showing scenes from hospitals over and over and declaring them as their own. Numbers began seeming nonsensical in relation to the draconian lockdown measures that were being taken. Health organizations started flip-flopping back and forth on their narrative and on their messaging. A few brave medical doctors and nurses started speaking up about the true nature of this illness and of the inept treatment efforts that were being taken. But meanwhile, more people were dying of isolation, suicide, and a lack of medical care for their genuine health needs than any were dying from a supposed virus. We are the people who will create the world that we intend to live in. We are the people whose voices must call out the truth. I call on all health professionals, lawyers, bankers, teachers, police officers, military personnel, and all of the people of Canada to stand for justice. Stand for sovereignty and stand for love. Thank you.
Rise up! Rise up! Rise up! Rise up!
Why are our elected officials, barring one, Randy Hillier, not speaking out and demanding transparency from our premier for all the decisions made to bring in these actions? Is it not their role as an elected official to represent our interests and uphold the Constitution? They say these actions are done to save lives, but yet there is no effort to differentiate between who has died with versus who has died from, and all of the deaths caused by these measures are being ignored, so it's a statement without merit. Why are our elected not demanding that our health minister disclose stats of people who test positive versus those who are actually sick or symptomatic or hospitalized? Why are they using a test with high inaccuracy rates? How can their actions possibly be justified without having even this most basic information? If truth, accuracy, and responsibility are not their priority, what is? Does it concern you that they have granted themselves impunity while they impose fines, penalties, and hardships on all of us? To our MPPs, I ask you, what will you stand for?
Mysteriously, the same government can't seem to develop any app so the people themselves can vote on each law that governs them. We live in a world where each government-run school makes sure the graduating students can successfully fill out a resume, yet mysteriously absent from the curriculum is the knowledge for each student to fill out a business plan. Sex ed as a title is never questioned in government schools, but why not love ed, connection ed, or family ed? The best of our humanity is being systematically removed by a structure of control, masquerading as progress and altruism. Our government maintains its power by removing ours. The most beautiful and powerful aspects of our humanity are being cleverly vaporized as we're tricked into believing indoctrination is education and that slavery is freedom. Chocolate bar, pop, and potato chip machines riddle our healthcare facilities. Smoking areas are to be found outside every hospital and fast food restaurants, serving food like things not fit for a maggot to eat. All stand as a testament to how far off the moral and ethical path our society has wandered. What sort of world do we live in? A world where we need to take our power back as individuals and as sovereign citizens. Debate, physical fitness, family planning, and ethics in school have now been replaced with the most basic life coping skills possible. setting up nothing more than a race to the bottom for our kids and our society overall. And it's beyond obvious that we are skirting this most simple analytical tool in order that we gain valuable insight into this COVID Hollywood production made of pure air and propaganda campaign unlike any other in human history. It's enough to make Satan himself blush and turn red with envy. These defective and broken people who are now leading this worldwide attack on humanity are mere products of a society that terrorizes and handicaps its own children. We've created these defective systems and the broken leaders who occupy its hierarchy. I'm getting the nod. These extremely broken children are now our broken and defective misleaders in science, medicine, and government, and they are completely ripe with the darkness we've placed into them. I'm gonna skip here. Turn off your TVs, reject the mental poison flowing out of your screens, which is designed to trap us all in a false reality. Reject the chemical poisons as well. This is how you take your power back. You can't farm lions, only lambs. These mental and chemical poisons are all designed to keep us as lambs, primed for the slaughter. It's time to remember that we are lions, and it is time to chase the government and medical hyenas out of the Pride Land once and for all. We have lots of work to do, and we are the group sent here to do it. This is our job, and we accept this charge. Forces of good drive our mission from the great beyond. We are not alone. We are supported in our fight to bring the light back to this planet, and this mission will be accomplished. This goal will be manifested in our lifetime. If our voices didn't matter, they wouldn't try to censor us at every turn. They are the few, we are the many, and our collective strength is superior. We need to protect our children from the sacrificial systems that await them. This not only will save our children, it'll make sure we produce the strong leadership we need to thrive as a species and rid ourselves of the old and broken secret society gatekeepers that now terrorize us daily through our TV screens and corrupt government channels. Rise up, power up, lion up, feel your power, harness your power, take back your power. It's time morality, ethics, and justice live once more on the planet. My name's Jason Christoph. Thanks for listening.
Rise up! Rise up! Rise up! Rise up! Rise up! Rise up! Freedom! 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 Liberté!
Ladies and gentlemen,
Liberté!
put them together for Stephen Way.
Thank you, merci. You know, in a crisis, there's always positive things. And the positive thing, ce qui est positif dans une crise, is that we are all brothers and sisters from Quebec, from English Canada. We are gathering all together and we're going to work together. This is very positive what's happening. C'est très positif de travailler tout le monde ensemble. Aujourd'hui, j'ai parlé 2 fois. I'm going to talk 2 times. I would like to talk about values. J'aimerais vous parler de valeurs. Leadership. They dreamt of defending the people, and now I'm defending a crook government. Okay? Please, let's welcome Maxime Ouimet from Quebec.
Maxime! Maxime!
Salut Québec, je suis rendu ici. Ma vie a complètement changé dans les 7 derniers jours. Ma première fois à Toronto. My first time here in Toronto.
Welcome! Welcome!
Oh my God! Look at the guy. All right. This guy is a proof of courage. Thank you, man.
Solitaire!
J'ai été 12 ans dans les forces de l'ordre, à travailler pour le public, à travailler pour les citoyens. Si vous en regardez sur ma page ici, c'est marqué protéger et servir. Protect and serve.
Yeah.
I'm working for you guys, not for this government. After 12 years, I decided to resign of my job because this all stuff what we are doing, this is illegal.
And it's criminal.
Je pouvais plus me permettre d'arrêter des honnêtes citoyens alors que mon travail c'était d'arrêter des criminels et de protéger les gens. I cannot arrest and give ticket to people not working for these taxes here.
Yeah. Good, man.
Quand j'ai constaté que on commençait à avoir des pouvoirs extraordinaires et qu'on pouvait avoir un mandat pour entrer chez les gens puis les empêcher de souper en famille, je me suis dit, on dépasse les bornes. Parce que pour arrêter les criminels, j'ai pas ce pouvoir-là. So, when I know that we can have Rowan to go get in your home, to kick back all your family because you have a dinner with your friends and family, I said, no, this is too much.
Merci.
So I quit.
Bravo.
This is not normal for a police officer to make that kind of stuff against citizens. So,
That's right. Right.
no, it's okay. I knew that we are heading towards a dictatorship when Quebec gave us the power to enter in your private home. La sonnette de mon gros bon sens s'est mise à sonner. J'étais sur le terrain depuis le début. J'ai jamais été confiné. Et par la nature de mon travail, et j'ai aperçu qu'il n'y avait aucune crise sanitaire dans les rues, ni dans les endroits publics, ni dans les hôpitaux que je côtoyais. Pourquoi le discours des médias du gouvernement ne correspondait pas à ce que je voyais en réalité? J'ai cessé d'écouter la télévision, je me suis rendu compte que le COVID faisait zéro partie de ma vie. La seule raison pourquoi je connaissais ce virus-là, c'était à cause de cette hystérie collective. Oui. The bell of my common sense is ringing. I was in the field from the very beginning without being confined by the nature of my work, and I didn't see any crises in the street. I go in many hospitals, and I didn't see what the media and government tell to you. C'est à ce moment-là que je me suis rendu compte qu'on s'en allait dans la mauvaise direction puis j'étais pas dans la bonne équipe. La liberté des gens était extrêmement bérimée et contrainte absolument pour rien. J'ai pas pu continuer à jouer cette mascarade-là parce que, comme j'ai dit dans les postes de police, on ne les portait pas les masques. Et on montrait aux citoyens de les porter. Ouais, excuse-moi. So I no longer have to continue to play this joke in front of the public because we know that police officer in the police station, we don't wear the mask. Je suis ici pour m'adresser aux policiers et policières du Québec, de Toronto, du Canada. Vous êtes la main, vous êtes les bras du gouvernement sur ce terrain-là. Et en ce moment, le gouvernement déraille. Vous êtes l'outil de ces gens-là pour répresser les gens. C'est pas ça notre travail. On est ici pour les protéger, ces citoyens-là. Et ne faites pas respecter ce décret-là. Ne donnez pas de constat aux honnêtes citoyens ici qui sont déjà endettés, qui sont en train de faire faillite. Des constats de 1 500 $, c'est pas normal. I said all to police officers in the Canada and Quebec, stop doing all the stuff you're doing. We don't give ticket to those people. Do not enter in their home. This is illegal, guys.
Merci!
Merci.
Merci.
Maxime Homais.
Merci, Maxime.
Thank you. In April, I said we have to fight back the government. We have to give a last chance to the judicial system. So we have to hire the best lawyers, and here in Canada we have the chance to have one of the best constitutional lawyer in the world. You have it here, living in Toronto. His name is Rocco Galati. Okay? You have him here. I have a chance to have a good relationship with this guy. He's like a brother. So we founded the foundation. We raised some fund. Okay, some money. And then we helped Vaccine Choice Canada. Thank you, Vaccine Choice Canada, for organizing this rally, beautiful rally. And that proves that Quebec and Ontario are now the leader of the resistance in Canada. And I hope it's going to contaminate all Canada. You have to wake up, guys. You have to wake up. All right. So we have two missions in the foundation, is to defend the people by going to court. So we're going to court in Canada, we're going to court in Quebec, we're doing some injunction, preparing some injunctions. This is very important. Donc, comme on dit, la fondation poursuit les gouvernements à la fois du Canada à travers Vaccine Choice Canada en apportant une aide financière. Au Québec, nous avons poursuivi le gouvernement du Québec. Il y a un avocat qui est débarqué, c'est pas grave, il y en a un autre qui est réembarqué. You will respect us. And now we are mobilizing, okay, we are gathering, and we are going to say no more, 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 no more. Enough is enough. Yes.
Enough is enough.
Okay, now, I'm going to introduce you a brother to me, one of the best lawyers in the world, because he's receiving calls from lawyers from all over the world with the lawsuit that he filed in July, you know, and there was no mainstream media there. That's incredible. The most important lawsuit in the history of Canada. No mainstream media. What's happening with you? So, I would like to introduce you, vous présenter un des meilleurs avocats du Canada, one of the best lawyers in Canada, Mr. Rocco Galati.
My partner may be watching at home. Careful. You know, most of us lawyers are stupid, and we pretend to be intelligent, so I can't speak without notes, so I apologize for them. This much? Okay. So, I'm not used to mics in court. We never use them. So, before I speak to you about your rights, I want to make a few quick announcements, and I'll have a few important announcements at the end of my speech. I first want to make a few announcements. Then I want to talk to Trudeau, Ford, and Tory. I know they're not listening and don't give a shit of what I have to say in public, but they have to hear it anyway. So I want to thank everybody for your supporting emails and phone calls, and I want to thank you for your support of the Constitutional Rights Center since we launched the website about a month and a half ago, and other social media platforms. Prior to this, I'd always stayed away from social media. I'm a sort of an older Luddite type, and what I quickly learned in the last month and a half is that mainstream media and social media are really no different. The social media has become a corporate splice of the mainstream media. And both the social media and the mainstream media
have become to Trudeau, Ford, and Tory on the COVID what Pravda was to the Soviet Union in the Cold War. They are official mouthpieces, censors. They're graduates of the Joseph Goebbels School of Journalism, all of them. Shameful. Shame. So what's been made clear to me is that we have to free ourselves from this Main Street shackle that we all are on, unfortunately, addicted. The good news that I've noticed at the same time is that this untenable situation has led to an explosion of alternative media, smaller venues, where they keep, like my website, everything is kept internal. I don't care when they take me down. I've got everything duplicated, hard drive, that they can't take down. And what we need to do is have our alternative media stations turn into our own URL. And I've been in contact with people across North America to do just that, and hopefully we can all hook up and would not become victims of YouTube, Facebook, and the rest of them, especially CBC. So like the fool that I am, I've decided to join this movement, and I've decided to join this alternative and healthy voice. Well, they're going to have to move aside for me. So I've partnered up to establish an alternative media company in studio with a launch date in December of this year. And that's because I want to do my part to reflect my community, society, and the world in an honest, direct, non-deceitful way, with the intention of hooking up with other such independent media outlets already out there. I want to at this point to very briefly introduce my business partner in our company called Wholehearted Media. And I don't know if she's my partner, my business partner, is a former television journalist, video web director, and social media manager. More importantly, she... Come on up. Yeah. Wow. Okay. More importantly than her job titles, she's an extremely insightful, incisive, and intellectually and spiritually an independent individual. This is Rajwinder Kabli. Her friends call her Raji. Her closer friends call her Raj. However, she's instructed to me that I address her as Ms. Kabli, or if I want for short, Boss. So, Boss, you want to say a few words or not?
Wow. Hello, everyone. This is an absolute honor and privilege, and quite frankly, a dream come true to be standing here in front of all of you and partnering with this guy. Oh my God. It's amazing. I just want to say that it feels so good to know that nothing can stop the awakening of humanity, and I'm so excited. Nothing can stop the awakening of humanity. Nothing. And I'm so excited to be bringing Wholehearted Media to you all. Stay tuned.
Wholehearted Media!
Okay, now for the rant. On March 17, 2020, Ford commences the emergency. Somebody on Twitter the same day tweeted the following, quote, COVID-19 frenzy. A waltz in the global totalitarian tiptoe to a new world order. Parliament closures, global shutdowns, soldiers out, banking and corporate bailouts. Facts, science do not add up. Death toll, elderly and immunocompromised victims, marginally no different than any other flu. That was March 17th. You know who tweeted that? Me. All right? Okay? And this paragraph, this Twitter paragraph, just about fucking sums it up. Anyone who was awake at the time, and there were many of us who, in fairness, feared, but felt too alone and didn't want to buck the system in their community to express themselves. But anybody who was awake saw this coming, because it had been expressed, opened, and it's been in the planning for decades. So I want to talk about human beings and humanity, because at the end of the day, constitutional lawyers in defending constitutional rights are defending the human attributes that make us human. It's no more complicated than that. So I want to first say to Mr. Trudeau, Mr. Ford, Mr. Tory, respectfully, none of us want to sing in your fascist muzzled rat race choir that you're conducting through that you're conducting through a score of pornography of fear for globalist criminals. Yeah. So I'd like to say to each of you respectfully, stop lying to your citizens you're supposed to serve.
Lock them up! Lock them up! Lock them up! Lock them up!
Stop lying about the bogus, fraudulent, quote, testing. Tell us what the PCR tests. And about the PCR tests and what it actually tests. You know it does not test for any virus. Your case counts are criminal propaganda. Your discourse of numbers is criminally fraudulent. In the USA, they call that data fraud and actually have criminal provisions geared at state officials who engage in data fraud because it misleads the public. So stop lying about cases to scare us about deaths. Even on your fraudulent characterization of 9,800 plus COVID deaths, this amounts barely to 1/4% of the Canadian population. Don't talk to me about numbers in the abstract that don't mean a fucking thing. This is a death rate that is no different from the annual flu for the last 15 years. Where's the pandemic? And stop lying, calculated, globalized fear-mongering. We are not afraid.
We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid.
There are those who are afraid. And who are they, largely? The poor, the disabled, and the elderly. Because they're the victims of this vicious fraud. They're the ones who can't negotiate their life in the context of this insanity that you've unleashed on us. And shame on you for that. I have 4 or 5 questions for Mr. Trudeau. Why are you advertising for crowd control officers for 2025? Why are you procuring massive stock supplies of riot tear gas? Why are you procuring internment facilities? Why are you advertising for drone neighborhood surveillance monitoring officers for 2030? This is all publicly available information. What's your agenda, Mr. Trudeau? And Mr. Tory here in the city of Toronto, why do you miserably fail at providing affordable housing, but you're happy and gleeful to take $14 million to build an isolation center, another type of internment facility? Build some affordable housing, why don't you? I want to address Mr. Ford, our Premier, as well.
Lock him up! Lock him up! Whoa!
So why will you not answer any of Randy Hillier's questions? Especially about the internment camps planned for Ontario. Why do you refer to law-abiding citizens exercising their constitutional right as yahoos?
Now we're a bunch of yahoos!
And that if they do not like masks or mandatory measures, they can, quote, leave the country. Where do you get that fucking audacity? In my career, I've heard that line directed at me many times when I take unpopular cases. And it's always from the same source, not always from the same person, but always from the same well. And that well is the well of redneck white supremacists. Your ancestors may have helped in stealing this land from the Indigenous people of Canada, but you don't own the fucking country. Any premier who says that should be ashamed of himself. And I'd like to say, Mr. Ford, you may have a challenged time understanding what I'm about to say, but thought, conscience, belief, expression, association, assembly, life, liberty, security of the person, freedom from unlawful search and seizure and arbitrary detention, and equality are not rights you and your kind, tyrannical and incompetent politicians gave to me or anyone else. They are human attributes bestowed upon us by the Creator, even if you believe the Creator goes no cosmically farther than your mother. Even there, it is she who gave us all the gift of life and the human attributes that come with it. We all possess as members of humanity. These rights that you have in the Constitution are codified human attributes. That's all they are. They're not rights bestowed upon you by the state. The state can only curtail, suppress, eliminate, or try to kill your human attributes. Don't get hoodwinked that the Charter was there to give you these rights. No, the Charter was there to protect you against these depraved, tyrannical mothers. So I'm here to tell you, of course, on behalf of my clients, who asked me to be here today,
Thank you!
because otherwise I wouldn't waste my breath on you, because I know you don't listen, and if you do, you rarely understand Premier Ford. And you don't care, I know that. But I'm here to tell you on behalf of my clients, as the constitutional lawyer representing them, who have filed in court against you, Mr. Trudeau, Tory, along with your fraudulent, incompetent medical health officers who vacillate with their advice, which you refuse to disclose, by the way, and who vacillate with their advice from week to week like a palm tree swaying in a Pacific hurricane. I mean, if we believe everything they say, they should be fired for incompetence tomorrow. And what I want to say is that you cannot have, under any circumstances, my constitutional rights. They belong to me. And they belong to everybody here and everybody not here. They're not yours to possess. So, well, I'll have to stop short because then I can, I'm governed by the Law Society. So they were entrenched to protect me against tyrannical politicians like you. So I say on behalf of myself, and if I have the permission of the good people here, I say that we are all exempt. this is the first time I've come out, so I hope you don't mind if I rob a bit more time that was allotted to me. Are you okay with that? So I'd like to say to Mr. Ford, you've tried to isolate me, distance me from my fellow humans, silence me with your slave trade masks, close down and lock down points of human contact, refrain me from kissing and hugging my children, allow the abuse of children who are strapped in school all day, including in the schoolyard, to wearing these stupid masks that have been documented to cause health risks. Now Theresa Tam tells me I have to wear a mask when I have sex. And even farther than that, she personally recommended masturbation for all of us till 2022. Well, dear Dr. Tam, choose what you do in your personal life until 2022. It's your right. But do not tell me how to breathe, who to talk to, who to hug, who to kiss, or who to make love with my consensual partner, or how. We will not be stripped of our humanity. And so, Trudeau, Ford, and Tory have been on a tyrannical tear to dehumanize us of all our human attributes. For what? To serve the predatory globalist agenda of Bill Gates and his criminal cohorts?
Hell no! Hell no! Hell no!
Nothing, quote, nothing gets back to normal until we get a microchip vaccine? My answer to that is go pound sand on a wet beach.
Yeah! Or go to hell!
Preferably a beach near your cottage where you broke the rules along with Mr. Trudeau. So Belgian doctors have called for an investigation of the WHO for, quote, its fraudulent pandemic. Dutch nurses and doctors have sued over the fact that this is not a, quote, pandemic, but a flu. And their nurses are refusing to be vaccinated to continue working. There are now over 100,000 doctors, experts worldwide, calling this pandemic fraudulent and the measures unwarranted. The measures have killed to a factor of 12 to 14 to 1 more people than you depraved leaders and health officers claim COVID has killed. You're suggesting to us that we're so stupid as to think the way to kill a fly on a glass table is to take a fucking sledgehammer. Now the World Food Bank is saying 10% of the world population risks starvation. That's 700 million people. Okay? 10,000 additional children a month are already dying from disruption of food supplies. How do we justify that, Mr. Ford? Just because they're not your kids? And dozens of developing countries have ejected the WHO for its conduct and failed attempts to bribe their heads of state.
Criminal.
And for using their children for medical experiments.
Criminal.
Mr. Ford, 81% of all Canadians who have died from the COVID, according to you, have died in their rat hole long-term care facilities. And what have you and Mr. Tory and Mr. Trudeau done about this year after year? Because it happens year after year, COVID or no COVID, you've done frigging nothing.
Lock him up!
So now you go waste. So you appoint the Honorable Mr. Justice Morocco, Associate Chief Justice, for whom I have the world of respect for. He's one of the most enlightened and greatest jurists we've had. But what's he going to tell you don't know? You don't maintain proper long-term care facilities that are there mostly for profit. And this government and all previous governments have turned their head the other way. So now you're trying to whitewash it with a judicial inquiry. And all of this, you ignore the elderly, you ignore all the things that could have mitigated these deaths, But you got your eye on internment camps over people who reject and oppose your lying, fraudulent agenda, criticized and opposed by eminent experts all over the world. You got your eye on suppressing of inalienable constitutional rights, going to life itself. Is that your solution? You know? For what? Again, and I'm almost finished, guys and girls. Again, for what is he doing this? Well, it's clear. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. Just read. To serve Bill Gates, the Gavi, the World Economic Forum, the IMF, World Bank, and all the other criminal billionaire corporate oligarchs? Why? Do we need to stand for this?
No! Enough is enough!
Yet you keep your liquor stores as an essential service. People are dying, but your liquor is an essential service, owned by the government of Ontario. Right? While I can't get shoes for my kids unless I get them at Walmart or Costco, right? What do these measures and agenda have to do with public health? Who do you think you're kidding? And I'd like to say, Mr. Ford, if I was born yesterday, it was pretty early in the fucking morning. My clients do not believe, trust, nor care to listen anymore to you, your lies, nor your propaganda machine, and the whores you call Main Street and corporate media. Your policies and politics make no scientific, medical, or common sense.
It's bullshit!
Your belligerent fascism will not deter us in defending our human attributes codified as constitutional rights. Your measures are destructive, irrational, and unconstitutional. They serve other masters, not the citizens of this province or country. So, before I get off the stage, and I'm worried because I'm 231 pounds and this thing is bouncing. Get away from me. Yeah, two slim guys, you see? This is dangerous. No, I'm almost done. So, just two last, sorry. Just a couple of last announcements before I get off the stage. Me too. Next on our litigation agenda, we are bringing a wholesale challenge in British Columbia.
Yeah!
In Ontario, we're preparing to file against school principals, superintendents, and school boards for their insane torture of children. School boards, and superintendents actually have the audacity to even breach the provincial laws that are on the books. Nobody could have said it better than Bob Dylan in his song, Everything is Broken, when he said, they're bending broken rules. I and the other lawyers and staff at the Constitutional Rights Centre thank you very much for your support. We invite you to continue supporting us so we can continue our efforts against this insanity. Okay? Thank you very much.
Having said that, we should protect the vulnerable and let healthy people live their lives. Our grandparents have worked too hard to let our corrupt politicians flush our Canadian economy and freedoms away. It has become quite clear that our government no longer serves the interests of Canadians. Their mission has been obvious from the start: more control. This has never been about safety, but rather compliance.